Joy of Painting with Brad Ross.
Hello friends, thank you for joining me, and welcome back to The Joy of Painting with Brad Ross. Today, we will be discussing the history, science, and potential health benefits of sourdough bread while we paint a loaf of sourdough bread. Let's begin. As we're blocking in a little loaf shape here, why don't we discuss the history of sourdough? A lovely crust. The earliest records of sourdough date all the way back 3700 BCE. Can you believe it? Some baker in Egypt mixed flour, water, probably steps away to hang out with his cat. And when he comes back, the mixture is bubbled. And this brave, innovative baker decides, rather than throwing this out, I'm gonna bake it. And then a long lineage of sourdough was born. Just a happy little accident. From Egypt, sourdough spread across the Mediterranean. And by the time the Middle Ages rolled around, sourdough was everywhere in Europe. People migrated. They carried their sourdough starters, like family heirlooms. Now what's a starter, you might ask? Simply a mixture of flour and water, the base of any loaf of sourdough. These little jars of microbial life traveled everywhere humans went, all throughout history. And during the California Gold Rush, the 1840s and 1850s, miners valued their starters so much they slept with them at night to keep them warm. Can you imagine? This era gave birth to the famous San Francisco sourdough, which was made by distinctive wild yeast unique to the region. And some bakeries today still maintain starters over 150 years old. This means there are generations of people who've been fed by the same microbial family. Can you believe it? Truly. These little bacteria, same colony for nearly 2 centuries, been feeding us delicious, crusty, tangy sourdough bread. Do you see this lovely, flaky crust beginning to develop? I hope to bring to life this loaf in the same way that these microbes brought life to sourdough all this time.
What am I doing with my life right now?
Now that we... You're not supposed to say me like this. Now that we've spoken on the history of sourdough bread, why don't we talk a little about the magic behind sourdough, fermentation, the science. And while we talk about science and what makes it rise, we'll paint the little bubbles. How does that sound? What makes sourdough sourdough? We've spoken a little bit about starter, but what is it? As we said, starter is simply flour and water. But how does that make sourdough? How is that any different from regular bread? That's what I'm here to tell you. Let's get into it, shall we? The magic of sourdough begins with a partnership between wild yeast and lactic acid bacteria. When you mix flour and water, you create a tiny ecosystem. Lives in here. The yeast produce carbon dioxide bubbles that lift the dough, giving it its classic airy interior. Meanwhile, lactic acid bacteria ferment sugars into lactic and acetic acid. Those acids give sourdough its tang, and they lower the pH. This makes the environment of sourdough too acidic for harmful microbes. Did you know that? During this fermentation, enzymes break down complex starches and protein. This makes the nutrients more accessible and also reduces FODMAP sugars, which can make sourdough easier on the stomach for many people. This includes those with light gluten intolerances, as much of the gluten structure is broken down through fermentation. Lovely. And there you have it, folks. We've painted a lovely loaf of sourdough bread. It looks so good you can almost reach in and take away. We've also discussed the history, science, and even a little bit of health benefits of sourdough. I want to thank you for joining me today. It's really been a lovely time. Wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Joy of Painting with Brad Ross, and I hope to see you again next week. Take care.